Look at that shit. I think it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It's fucking pouring out. I had no idea. I haven't left the house today yet. It's 7:21. 7:21. And I do not watch the news. I refuse to watch local news. It's a rule in the house. We don't watch mainstream media, and we don't watch mainstream media in our house. If you're wondering, if anyone's looking and seeing this, Lorraine was fucking around with the tweezers and started tweezing Ella. She's starting to grow a unibrow, so she was crying and acting dramatic, and I told her to stop, and she said, why don't you do it, like a sassy 10-year-old would. So I did it just to show her that it doesn't hurt, and that real men don't show pain. And I know she's not a man and all that shit. She's still super dramatic, like it was crazy. But that's what kids act like these days. And I'm trying to raise these kids to not be like little, I can't think of another word, like sissies. I'm trying to grow them up tough, because the rest of the world, well, first of all, the world's not going to be easy on you. Your family might be, but the world doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, the rest of the world isn't going to be easy. It never is. So you have to raise them to be ready for a world that is tough and that is not fair. Do you know what I mean? And the little one, the 3-year-old, he's just a maniac. But he's becoming like obsessed with like Band-Aids and cuts and saying he's hurt when he's not, and he's just a little fucking lunatic. But I guess this is what comes with raising with kids. But you want to raise them to be as tough as possible for a world to get them ready for a world that's not fair. Because we find out, I mean, no one really told me the world wasn't fair. I had to find out for myself. You know what I mean? In places where I was always a minority. You know what I mean? Mostly I was a minority. And for people that, you know, are just seeing this and just coming on my page, I'm from a neighborhood in Boston that when I grew up it was mostly white, but it didn't get really gentrified. It just we had a mayor that busing was the thing, where they bused everybody to different neighborhoods, the high school, and there was 3 housing developments in 1 square mile, and the city of Boston, you know, is mostly black. I mean, the United States is only 13% African American, and the city of Boston is definitely mostly black, you know, with the exception of certain neighborhoods. When I was growing up, West Roxbury, South Boston, and Charlestown, but there were certain areas, but when we went to high school, it wasn't like that, because everyone got bused in, and then I ended up being locked up most of my life, and in prison. White guys are the minority, and you know, they get treated like it, especially in like Suffolk County House of Correction, where you're definitely the minority, or Suffolk County Jail, you're definitely the minority. So, like, you find out in those places when you're a minority, it doesn't matter like what. If you're a minority, you just get treated different. So like, I could speak on that, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, no, I didn't get treated like blacks did during slavery, as I know that. But I read history. I know all about history. I know how it started. I know who the first fucking slave owner was, which was a black man. And trust me, so I know all about history, right? So, but I'm just saying that I found out that life wasn't fair. That's my point. That's it. right? And mostly, I put myself in those positions. Nobody put me in those positions. So I know, and I take responsibility and accountability. Nobody put me in. I went to Catholic school that my mother paid a lot of tuition for me to go to. And it definitely wasn't, I wasn't the minority there. I got kicked out of there because of decisions I made. And then I ended up in public school. And then I ended up in DYS because of fucking bad decisions. I did stupid things. Just like this media convincing a large amount of people that cops are going around fucking shooting people. I see so many people and so many comments, and I feed into it because I just try to convince people one by one, like, hey, listen, like, that's not real. Like, the cops aren't going around shooting people in work boots on their way to work. Like, figure that out, okay? That Hinton kid that just got shot, like, he pulled the gun on a cop running out of a hot box, and his grandmother is now playing the victim. Oh, he did, like, come on, man. You've been in this world how long, and you're still playing the victim? Then your son, that was your grandson, was in a hot box, stolen car, and pulled the gun on a cop, put his life in jeopardy. So naturally, that's how things go. The police are going to shoot at you. It don't matter what race you are. I know 5 people alone that have been killed by the police, and they're all white. You know why? Because they pulled guns or shot at the police. That's what happens when you shoot at the police. And this kid pulled the gun at the police in a hypersensitive time. That's what happens. So your grandson got shot, and then because of that, your son went and ran down a white police officer that had nothing to do with it, and you're still playing the victim. That's crazy. I don't know how you raised your son and how he raised his son, but I'm gonna bet that you just weren't the best parents. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that. I'm not the best parent in the world, but I try. I'm there. I'm present. 24 hours a day, except for these rides I take to go get cigarettes. The only time I'm not present, I'm on here talking about problems, issues I've had in my life, to give myself some therapy and to give context to people that might have lived the same way, that you're not alone. And like, mental health is a real thing. PTSD is a real thing. And I'm not playing the victim. Like, you can't do those things and then play the victim. You can't, black culture the way it is, like, you just can't turn around and keep playing the victim. Do you know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing, is I follow a lot of people. One guy's called the Negro, the White Negro, John Paul King, Brandon Tatum, the Officer Tatum, and these are black men, educated, informed black men who go and they're tired. They have fatigue from the black community, always playing the victim and making they're feeling like making them look bad, because it's always the same thing. You're blaming Trump and you're blaming the white man when you're doing the fucking things you do, acting ratchet. A Louisiana friggin' graduation, the whole friggin' graduation turns into a fucking dance club stripper party, basically. And yay, everyone's happy, everyone graduated, but people don't act like that. And then come to find out, I forget the man's name, another educated black man who said, you know what, I'm going to look into this. And then he comes to find out that, yeah, there's a 95% graduation rate there, but only 37% of that school are reading at grade level. When I tell you I'm like, I do my fact checking and I go and get educated on things and look into things and see what's up. So like, I know what's up. You want to have a not an argument, but talk facts about these things. We can do that, and I'll talk facts all day, right? You can be happy about graduating, but what the administration and these schools are doing to push these kids through, when only 37% of these kids are reading at school level, and 27% are at the grade level of math. How are they getting pushed through and graduating? And check this out. 6% of that school in Louisiana, I forget the name. I'd be lying if I try to come up with the name. Only 6 out of 100. 6% out of 100 are at college ready. We're college ready. Took an exam and we're actually college ready. So, I don't know how many kids were in that graduating class. So say if there were 200, that means only 12. Only 12 of them are college ready. I mean, that's sad. That's just pushing shit through just for the numbers, you know. And then you got, that's how you got so many uneducated fucking people that are running around this fucking planet and they're trying to talk to you and talking about they have degrees. Like they know what they're talking about. I don't care if you have a degree. That doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you smart. You're still not educated on what's going on in the world. You still believe that the mainstream media is telling you the truth. Well, when they're not showing fucking all these immigrants that are reoffending, that have been kicked out of their countries for doing horrible shit, and America's accepting them into what they're calling sanctuary cities and giving them sanctuary. That Venezuela, one of the worst countries in the world, this past year just had its best year for crime ever, because they sent all their criminals to the United States, and they emptied their prisons and rehabilitation centers because they had an overcrowding issue with the agreement that they come here, and sent them all here. And the Department of Justice, and Biden and Harris knew that, and sent some of the worst fucking criminals in the world here from Venezuela, and didn't warn anybody. And you know what happened as soon as they got here? I mean, this they couldn't help but put on the news. They took over an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, with machine guns. They took over a whole apartment complex, a whole condo complex. Like, I don't know what they thought they were doing, like just to live there. I don't know what the cops did. I don't know if they let them stay. I never seen the aftermath because the media didn't show it. Because anything, I don't know if people understand, anything that makes the Democratic Party look bad, the media does not cover. Okay? Every major media network in the United States are major contributors to the Democratic Party. They're all in bed together. So they only cover positive news about the Democratic Party. Only cover positive news. And only cover negative news about the Republican Party and Donald Trump. Like, for instance, the four major things that were plaguing this country that, like, some people don't even know because they're so dumb. Inflation, grocery prices, gas prices, and immigration. Those 4 things. So border crossings are down 99%. Inflation is down and trending downwards. And the Dow and all that, and the Wall Street is all looking fucking in shape now. Grocery prices, egg prices, milk, boxes of cereal, all down. Okay? Gas prices down under $3. So Trump has fixed the 4 major issues that this country was having. They're all fixed. Okay? They're all fixed and trending upward as far as what we want, the country wants. Right? Prices are going down. And same with real estate prices. But the media's not going to tell you that. I actually watched one of the biggest race baiters, one of the worst liberal senators there is in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, right? Big race baiter. Just was in some type of conference. I don't know what it was. Just tell a whole group of people, and it was televised or whatever, right? Tell people that all those things I just told you were all going up. He just lied to everybody, right? Because that's what they do, lie. Just said grocery prices are still going up, right? From what they were, which I don't even know how that would be possible with what they were when Biden was there. Gas prices still going up, inflation up, and of course he didn't mention immigration, because they're all for saving friggin' MS-13s, and they're really trying to argue. I seen a liberal politician trying to argue on some podcast show with a guy about the tattoo, and about this guy Kilmer being an MS-13, and it's like, what part of this don't you get? He got grabbed with a car full of, or a truck full of girls, sex trafficking them, right? Never mind beating up his wife, and she was scared shit, and he's got a fucking MS-13 tattoo on his hand, and he's already been told by a judge, you can't be in this country. So he's already been deported. I don't know what you liberals don't understand. You're not getting the truth from the media about it, but those are the facts. Those are the facts, right? You can't argue those facts with me, right? You can't say any of those things aren't true, right? And you're just sitting there, and that's the biggest issue you care about in the world, is Trump deporting a fucking a terrorist, part of the worst fucking crime syndicates in the world, right? You have to rape or kill somebody to be a part of that gang. You have to rape a woman or kill somebody to be a part of that gang. Do you understand that? I was locked up with one, and people might remember this this happened around 02. I was in Bill Ricker around that time to 04 when I got shipped out, and the kids come through. There was 4 of them. There was 4 of them in Trump Field. They raped a fucking girl in a wheelchair. They raped a girl with fucking that was slow in a wheelchair. I don't know how she got left alone, and she was in a wheelchair. I don't know how it happened that she was alone and they caught them, but that was their initiation into the gang, and they got jumped coming through the day room. I was up in Seg, of course, when it happened, because I would have loved to be in that day room when that happened, but I was up in the hole already for definitely beating someone else up, because I never got logged for anything but a fight there. 4 kids come through, and the cops, they were such hunk of shits, and people fucking wanted to get them so bad. The cops let people know before they were coming. to give dudes a heads up if you wanted to get them. And dudes did. I remember my kid Mark Williams from New Hampshire. He's the only one I remember his name that actually got in on the party. But there should have been more people that got them. I remember that. But that's what they have to do to be part of that gang. I don't know what you understand. And all this, like, MS-13s or kids from El Salvador that are in this country that are just randomly killing, like killed the pregnant woman, I forget, on the trail there, and or she was a mother of 4. I forget the exact details, in Virginia or Maryland. But it's happening everywhere. It's happened in Massachusetts. One of them raped a girl in Taunton. It's happened in Great Barrington a couple times. It happened in Pittsfield. All these, it was a Brazilian who got shipped out of Brazil because Brazil didn't want him because he was a rapist, and they just said send him to America. They're taking anybody, and that's what we were doing. We're taking anybody, and the Biden administration were flying people over from Haiti. They were flying them over because, oh, you can't walk over the border because there's water there, so we're just gonna fly you over. All you gotta do is there's an app. Kamala Harris had an app. You just had to fill it out and they'd basically come get you. I don't know if people know that. So they were coming to get you, to bring you into America. Like, just so, like, for what? And then they were eating people's cats and shit. Eating people's animals. Like, this is crazy that you fucking liberals don't give a fuck about, like, between 15 and 20 million unvetted immigrants. Yeah, there might be some decent people in between there that want to make a living, but do you know how many fucking sick fucking pedophile, rapist, killers were in there? And how much fentanyl snuck over the border in between then? Do you know how many people died from that extra fentanyl during that time, from 2020 to 2024? My sister and my niece died during that time. So, like, fentanyl is just coming over, like, because they're not stopping anybody. They're not stopping anybody. People are just coming over. Drug smugglers were just having a field day. You're just so fucking stupid. Open the border. Do you know how much of a safety risk that was? Joe Biden, on his first day of office, his very first order of business was reversing all of Donald Trump's immigration policies, despite him. But to put the United States' safety at risk. Do you know how many enemies the United States have? Hamas, all the people you care about, pro-Palestine. They would kill us in a second. Any one of you fair-skinned people, any one of you fair-skinned fucking idiots, right, that they ever seen, they would kill in a heartbeat. And yous are all fucking protesting for them. Yous have no idea about what's going on there. They're the ones that started the fucking war. Do you know that? You're saying there's a fucking Palestinian fucking genocide? It's going both fucking ways. You think Palestine, that Israel stole their land? It was Israel's land first. It was Israel's land first. Going back to fucking when Jesus was born. It was back to 0 BC. Or 0 AD. The beginning of fucking time. That was the Israelis' land. They have been persecuted. The Jews have been persecuted since the beginning of time. They've been occupied by the Romans. They've been occupied by so many fucking people. And then they happen to be occupied by Palestine. And America and England went and got their land back. so they can have some land. Because they had no fucking land. They had nowhere to go. And you just have no idea about anything. You just go along with whatever the media says. Using the fucking very definition of sheep. Using the very definition of sheep. It's so fucking bad that you should just believe whatever the fucking media says. 95% of you have no idea that George Floyd did not die at the hands of Derek Chauvin. That there's 2 videos, but the media only shows you one. Actually, there's more than 2 videos, but they only show you one video. The one video that shows him, Derek Chauvin, which he did go overboard, but he didn't kill him. He died of a fentanyl overdose. He was already in the police car. This is a fact. Look it up. Look it up. Google it. How did George Floyd die? He was already in the police car and he was kicking the window and he was acting up, saying he couldn't breathe in the police car. All right? And they pulled him out of the police car, and that's why that happened. And while he was in the cop car, guess what he did? All the drugs he had on him, he ingested them. He ingested all the drugs he had on him. And he died from the drugs that he ingested. That's how George Floyd died. A guy that did a home invasion and put a fucking gun to a pregnant woman, a drug addict, which I'm a former drug addict too. So I'll tell you, I don't deserve no fucking statue. Nobody's gonna put up no statue for me. There's nothing I can do in this life to deserve a statue, because I've done way too many wrong things. And so did George Floyd. He does not deserve a statue for dying of an overdose, for eating a bunch of drugs, because the media wanted to make him their tipping point, their boiling point, their breaking point, because they showed you a bunch of fucking criminals that got killed at the hands of the police. Black criminals. And they didn't show you anyone else at that time getting killed by the police. But believe me, look at the numbers. 2000 that year was, 2019, 2020. Every race was getting killed by the police. But the media was only showing you one race to fucking fit an agenda. And you fall right for it. Use liberals who fucking in the black community fall right for it. You fucking fell for it like sheep again, because they know you will. They know you will. They know you're gonna believe whatever the fuck they show you. If you don't believe me, do your own information, do your own fact checking like I did. Do it. Google, how did George Floyd die, right? Google that, and Google police homicides by race, 2019 and 2020, and you'll see that, because I know a couple people that got killed during that time, white people. But do you think that the media showed it? Nope, they made it look like they were only killing black people. Breonna Taylor, her fucking